90% of new YouTubers quit in the first year, but the real reason isn't what you think. Most people don't quit because they don't enjoy creating videos. They don't quit because they're not willing to do the work and work hard. They quit because they feel like they're not getting anywhere. And I know this feeling firsthand. When I started, I knew YouTube was going to be a challenge for me, and I wasn't expecting overnight success. But what I didn't expect was how much effort it would actually take. And the real difficulty is that you don't have any real sense of progress. I would upload hoping this time would be different. Maybe this would be the video that gains traction. But more often than not, it didn't. I had a couple of videos for my channel that did really well for my channel. And I had some comments here and there that were encouraging, but it's difficult to see, what was working and what wasn't working. And I think that's what gets you. At first, you tell yourself, just keep going, everyone starts at zero. But after a few weeks or a few months of putting in the effort and seeing almost nothing in return, that the thoughts start to creep in that you start to think, what's the point of this? What am I doing this for? And that's when I think most people give up. That's when most people quit. And they don't stop because they don't love creating. They stop because they feel like they're alone in the process and no one really cares and what's the point? And that's that's why this video is important. Because if you're in that place right now wondering if it's even worth it, I want to show you that you're not the only one. And more importantly, I want to show you how we can push past that. Because YouTube isn't just about making videos, it's about learning how to keep going, even when it feels like no one is watching. And I can tell you this, the people who push past this stage, they're the ones that truly succeed. So let's break it down. Why do most people quit YouTube, and what can you do to make sure that you're not one of them? Most people quit YouTube because they come in with the wrong expectations. And honestly, it's not their fault. We've all seen the outrageous video titles that are out there. I hit 100,000 subscribers in 6 months. How I made $10,000 from one video. Or this simple trick got me 1 million views overnight. And when you see things like this, it's easy to believe that growth should be easy and it should be fast. It's easy to think if I just make great content, the algorithm will reward me. And when that doesn't happen, when the first few videos barely get any views, it makes you question things. But here's the reality. Most successful YouTubers struggled for years before breaking through. And we just don't get to see that part. We see the highlight reel. We see the moments they go viral, the day they hit a huge milestone. But what we don't see are the months or the years of uploading to almost no one. And I've experienced this myself. When I first started, I knew growth would take some time and I wasn't expecting instant success. But even knowing that, it still hit me pretty hard. Spending hours scripting and filming and editing and only getting, 10 or 20 views on videos. And it makes you question everything. Is my content bad? Or am I just not meant for this? Or what am I doing wrong? And that's where most people quit because they assume slow growth equals failure. But that's not true. Most creators think success looks like this: a steady upward trend where each video is just doing better than the last. But real growth looks more like this: months or even years of slow growth followed by a sudden spike. And this is why so many people quit right before they would have seen results. They can't see that they're right at the tipping point. They don't realize that YouTube is a game of outlasting discouragement. And this is why I'm building a community, because you're surrounded by other creators when you start to see the bigger picture. You realize that slow growth is normal. You start learning from people who are just a little bit ahead of you. So instead of quitting, you push forward because you're not doing it alone and you have the encouragement from others. And that's the difference from, between people who quit and people who make it. They don't have some magic trick. They don't have, something that just does it for their channel. They just keep showing up. They keep producing content and keep going with it even when they're discouraged. Most people don't quit YouTube because they stop caring. They quit because they don't have a system to keep them going when motivation fades. And I learned this the hard way. When I first started, I thought I'll upload whenever I have time. But here's the problem. Free time never just appears. We get busy and things get in the way. At first, I'd get excited about an idea and I'd film it and edit it and upload it, and then I'd do it again. But soon the gap between uploads started getting longer and longer. And this is where most people quit. They tell themselves, I just need to find the motivation again. But motivation is temporary, it's unreliable, and it's great for getting started, but it's not what keeps you going. So, what does keep you going is a system. And if you look at any successful YouTuber, they don't rely on motivation, they rely on a structure or a system. And a system means that you know what videos you're making in advance, so you're never scrambling for ideas. You have a consistent upload schedule, so your audience knows what to expect from you. And you batch record when possible, so you're not stuck filming every single week. And when I realized I stopped treating YouTube like a when I have time hobby. And I started treating it like it's a commitment. And here's where the community part of that comes in. Because holding yourself accountable is hard. But when you're in a group of people who are all showing up, all staying consistent, even when they don't feel like it, it motivates you to do the same thing. It makes it more important to you. Success on YouTube isn't about working harder. It's about creating a system that keeps you going, even when you don't feel like it, and getting through the tough parts that makes you want to quit. And when you're surrounded by others that are doing the same thing, you don't just stay consistent, you grow. But consistency alone isn't the problem. Even when you have a system, something else sneaks in. Something that stops more YouTubers than anything else. And that's imposter syndrome. That voice in your head that says, who am I to be making these videos? Why would anybody want to listen to me? And things like, I'm not good enough to be a YouTuber. I know that voice well. When I first started, every time I hit record, my mind would race. Do I even sound like I know what I'm talking about? What if people think that I'm boring? Or what if I'm just wasting my time and my effort? I figured maybe I just needed more experience. Maybe if I had more subscribers, I'd finally feel like I belonged. But here's the truth, imposter syndrome doesn't go away. Even the biggest YouTubers in the world feel it. I've watched creators with millions of subscribers admit that they still feel like they don't know what they're doing. So, what do? They create anyway. Because the truth is, you don't have to be the best. You don't need to be the smartest person in your niche. You don't need a fancy camera or the perfect voice. You just need to be unique in a way that only you can be. And if you think about it, If you wanted to learn how to start a YouTube channel, would you rather learn from someone that has 1 million subscribers and who started 10 years ago, or from someone that you can relate with that you enjoy watching regardless of how many subscribers they have? So both are valuable. But the second one, that's you. Someone out there needs your perspective. They need your personality, your way of explaining things. And the only way they'll find it is if you keep creating. But I get it, it's hard to fight these thoughts alone. And that's why I'm creating this community. Because when you're surrounded by other creators, you start to realize that everyone feels the same way. No one has it all figured out. We're all just learning as we go. And when you see that, you stop doubting yourself and start showing up. Because the only real way to fail is to stop posting. Most people don't quit YouTube because they stop loving it. They quit because they don't see a way forward. They start off excited and they put in the effort and they upload the videos, and then when nothing happens, they get discouraged and the views kind of trickle in and growth is slow and self-doubt starts to creep in. And after a while, they just tell themselves that, I tried, but maybe this isn't for me. Maybe this just isn't for me. And here's the truth. The people who succeed on YouTube, they're not always the most talented or the most charismatic or the most entertaining. The people who succeed are the ones who keep going. The only difference between someone who makes it and someone who quits is that the person who made it, they stuck it out longer. And that's not just motivation, it's a fact. Because the algorithm, it rewards consistency. Every big creator you see today started at zero. And the only reason they're big now is because they didn't stop, even though they faced the same problems. But but here's the problem. It's really hard to stay consistent when you're doing it alone. And I feel that right now. And I know it's a lot to upload a video and feel like no one's watching and to wonder if it's even worth it. And that's why I'm building this community, because YouTube isn't something that you have to figure out by yourself. The goals of the community that I'm building are to keep each other accountable so that you don't fall off track, to give feedback to other beginning YouTubers so that we can help each other and find ways to improve, and to motivate each other, to stay motivated together so that we don't quit when the times get tough. The best part is that you'll be surrounded by people who get it and know where you're at. So here's the thing, YouTube doesn't just have to be a solo journey. The creators who last have support. And now, so can you. So if you're serious about growing your channel, it's not just starting, but actually sticking with it, then I hope you would consider joining this community. And I'll leave a link in the description on you know where to go to join it. But we can get in this community, we can feed off of each other, and we can grow together.